Hello, welcome to Coding Class with MasterHun, and today I am going to talk about conditional statements, if, elif, and else. These are the keywords used in Python to create conditional statements. First off, I want to just show you a list of websites you should be aware of. I've highlighted here. You can see sololearn.com. It does require registration, but it is free, so you do not have to pay anything to use it. Although they do have a premium option. It is designed for adults. It is not designed for kids. So I think for an older child, teen, it could definitely be great for a teen or older, but probably not for a child less than 12, I would say. Also, I've been relatively recently, I've been using Python Tutor. It's a bit of a misnomer. It's not really a tutor. It's what I would call, coders would call it a debugger. But it's a good way to test code, run, and actually to be able to see how the code works inside the computer. So Python Tutor. So I would definitely bookmark this website. Website I've been using for a long time now is JDoodle. It is an online compiler. So it allows you to learn, test, experiment with, I believe it's a little over, it's about 63 different coding languages, but it does cover the most important ones, of course, the ones that I teach: Java, JavaScript, Python. So JDoodle, so it runs in the cloud. Everything is done in the cloud on their website, their servers. You do not have to install anything on your computer. You do not have to register to use JDoodle, but if you do register, it does allow you to save your work. Otherwise, in order to use JDoodle, if you have a lot of code that you want to run, instead of typing it in, you could just copy and paste it into JDoodle, which has a very simple, usable editor. Okay, and then we have W3 schools. Many coders have started their careers, their journey using W3 schools. It is primarily for web developers, but it is also good for new coders or people who have never coded before. It's very clean, it's easy to read, does not require any registration. It is free to use, and it also serves as a reference, online reference for web developers and coders. So please definitely check it out. W3 Schools. And of course, we have the mothership python.org. This is where you can download the latest version of Python, the Python interpreter for Windows, Mac, and Linux. I am not asking you or telling you to install Python software on your laptop or desktop. Just let you know that this is, if you are interested and you want to install Python onto your laptop or desktop, this is where you would go to get the latest version of the Python interpreter. Okay, let's start today's lesson by talking about Booleans. What are Booleans? Booleans are one of the built-in data types of Python. So Boolean is very simple to understand because there are only two possible values for a Boolean variable. A Boolean variable can be either true or false. Cannot be both true and false, can only be true or false, one or the other. Very yes or no, 1 or 0, black and white. Do be aware that true and false are keywords in Python. You must make sure that when you type true, it starts with a capital T. When you want to use false, make sure you capitalize the F. So true with a capital T and false with a capital F. Otherwise, you will get an error. Python will not recognize a lowercase true and a lowercase false. It will only recognize true with a capital T and a false with a capital F. Okay, please be aware of that. Okay, conditional statements. What are conditional statements? An easy way to understand conditional statements is an analogy to people. It's common to refer to some people as conditional. These are conditional friends. These are conditional people. And what do we mean by that? We mean that they only pay attention to you, they only talk to you, they only text you, they only call you when they need something from you. So if they can get something from you, then they are your friends. If they don't need you, if there's nothing you can offer them, then they ghost you. They don't know you from the hole in the wall. So just like in real life, like real people, conditional statements are the same thing. So if a condition is true, then something happens. If the condition is false, then nothing happens, or something else will happen. Okay? Conditional statements are if statements, if-else statements, and if-elif. Keep in mind, Elif, E-L-I-F, is a contraction for else if. So when you see Elif in Python, you should read that as an else if. Conditional statements are if statements, if-else statements, and if-elif else statements in Python. In a sense, you could say the computer or the program thinks when it executes conditional programs because it has to make a choice. Depending on certain conditions, the program decides to take path A or path B. Like a human, a computer makes a choice by itself. Okay? So when you use conditional statements, when you code, you are making the computer make a decision based on certain decisions. Okay. So if statements are the simplest conditional statements. If statements. If the condition or expression, or you could say expression, evaluates to true, the block of code is executed. If the condition or expression evaluates to false, the block of code is not executed. Okay, it's important to note the form of these conditional statements. The if statement will include the if keyword, if, then a colon, and then the indentation to form the block of code that will be underneath it. So again, the if statement is formed with the if keyword, the colon, and an indented block of code. Okay? So this is the syntax or the form of an if statement. If whatever condition or expression you have here before the colon is true, then whatever you put into this indented block of code, this indented block of code will run. If the condition is false, then this block of code does not run.
Okay? Only if the condition or expression evaluates to true, then the block of code will be executed. Okay, what if you have a situation where you want you want the computer to do something if something is true, but also alternatively, if the condition or expression is false, you want it to run a different set of instructions. So then we have the if-else statements. Okay, so the form of the if-else statement is if we have an if part, if the condition or expression is true. If the condition or expression is true, then we run this block of code that I've highlighted. If the condition or expression evaluates to a false, then we come to this else, and then we will run a different block of code. Okay, and each block of code can be one or more statements. Okay, so again, if-else statements, if the condition evaluates true, one block of code is executed. If the condition or expression evaluates to false, a different block of code is executed. So basically we have a fork in the road. Okay. Now, when we have a situation where you have more than two sets of blocks of code that you want to run, or more than two paths that you want the computer to take, then we have if, elif, else statements. And the elif can be, you can have one elif or two elifs. You can have a lot of elifs. I wouldn't have too many, but you could have a lot of elifs. If the first condition or expression evaluates to true, the first block of code is executed. If the first condition or expression evaluates false, the computer or the program executes the first elif condition or expression. Okay, let's look at the form of it. So we have, in this example, I just have one elif. So I have an if, I have an elif, and then else. But if you can see, I have these three dots. This represents more elif conditions if you wanted, and more elif conditions and blocks of code if you wanted to do that. So if we come to once we come to this if header, if this condition or expression evaluates to true, then the computer will execute this block of code. If this condition or expression is false, then we will move on to this elif. Also you can also think of it as an else if. We'll drop to this elif, and then we will check to see if this condition or expression is true. If this condition is true, then this block of code will execute. If this condition is false, condition or expression is false, then we will move on to the next elif if there is one, and do the same thing. If the if and all the else elif conditions turn out to be false, and so none of these blocks of code gets run, then we will come to this else, and then this block of code will run. Okay, and just important note. So if this if condition expression is true, this block of code runs, and it's important to note that if this block of code runs, we're not going to be coming here. We're going to be skipping over this. We're going to skipping over the else, and then we'll go on to whatever statements are after that, after the else. Okay? Okay, so only one of these blocks of code gets run.
if the condition or expression is true, and then all the other blocks of code will be ignored. Okay. So how do we create a Boolean variable? It's very simple. You make up a variable name, you have the assignment operator, and then you give it a value of either true or false. So this would be an example of a Boolean variable. Oops, I made a mistake there. This should be homework done. Homework done? True, homework is done. Okay. Now in this condition, we have a very simple if statement. If homework done is equal to false, if it's equal to false, then we're going to print this message. No internet for you, because you didn't do your homework. That's not nice, is it? Okay. Now alternatively, you could have put in, instead of homework done equals false, you could have done if homework done. I'm sorry, oops, I made a mistake there. If homework done colon. So if you had changed instead of homework done equal to false, instead of this condition, if you checked for if homework done, so if homework done was, since this is true here, since we made homework done true here, so if we had this if condition, if homework done, so if homework done, and that's true, so what would happen, it would print, sadly, would print no internet for you. Because when this is true, when this condition, which is just the homework done Boolean variable, is true, then we would print no internet for you, which is not very nice. But just be aware of that. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this code sample. We have the variable eggs, and then inside eggs, we put in this string spam. So if eggs, the variable eggs, contains the word spam, the string spam inside of it, we're going to print eggs, whatever is inside the eggs variable. Okay. If the word spam, if the string spam is not in the variable eggs, then we're going to print this message. Do not eat spam. Okay. So my question to you is, given this block of code here, what is the output of this code? Can you tell me what the output of this code will be? Can you? Okay. Let's move on to the next problem. We have eggs. Now inside the eggs variable, we've put in the integer 5. And in the spam variable, we assigned it the value of integer 3. Okay. Now this is more complex. We have an if elif else statement. If eggs is greater than spam, then we will print eggs are greater than spam. Elif or elsif, if spam is greater than eggs, then we're going to print the message spam is greater than eggs. Now, So I don't know if you can figure this out, but if we look at this else, so what does this else mean? So if this is false and then this is false, then we're going to execute this else. Okay? If this is true, we execute this print command, and then we skip over this part. This part gets skipped. If this is true, if spam is greater than eggs, then we're going to run this block of code, but we're not going to do this else section. We're going to skip over that. Okay? Okay. Eggs is assigned a value 5. Spam has been assigned a value of 3. So my question to you, what is the output of this code? Which of these messages will get printed out? What is the user going to see in the output? Okay. Okay, let's move on to questions. What part of an if statement should be indented? Can you tell me? Do you know? What part of an if statement should be indented? The statements within it. Oops. The statements within it. Should the first line be indented? Or should all of it be indented? Should the whole if statement be indented? What part of an if statement should be indented? Okay. Okay, this is a common question you're going to get. I'm going to ask you a lot. What is the output of this code? Okay, so let's look at the code. So the spam variable has been assigned a value of 7. If spam is greater than 5, print 5, the string 5. If spam is greater than 8, we're going to print the string 8. Okay, what is the output of this code? Is the output of this code nothing? Is it 8? Or is it 5? What is the output of this code? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, another the same question again, right? What is the output of this code? What is the output of this code? We have a variable num, and it has been assigned the integer 7. If num is greater than 3, print the string 3. Okay. And please note that we're in an indent. We're indented. This is indented. Okay. There's an indentation here, both. Okay. If num is less than 5, we're going to print 5. And you see, notice this section is indented. If num is equal to 7, print 7. Okay. So I hope you notice that we have an indentation here. We have an indentation here. This is indented. Then we have another indentation. Okay. And then we have another indentation. Okay. So it's been indented. Please be aware of that. Okay. So what is given this block of code, what is the output of this code? Can you tell me? Okay. What are the 2 Boolean values in Python? Is it this? Is it this? Or is it this? Okay. What are the 2 values in Python? Can you tell me? Do you know which one it is? Okay. Again, another what is the output of this code question, right? What is the output of this code? Okay. So we have a condition or expression 7 not equal to 8. Okay. This exclamation mark and equal sign in Python, you want to read that as not equal. Okay. 7 not equal to 8. Is this okay? What does this evaluate to? 7 not equal to 8. Is it true or is it false? It can't be both. It's either true or it's false. Can you tell me? Do you know? Okay. So the output will either be a true or false. Do you know which one it'll be?
Okay, again we have, what is the output of this code? Okay, so we have a condition or expression, 7, the integer 7, greater than the float 7.0. Okay, 7 greater than 7.0. Is it true or is it false? Okay, this condition will evaluate to true or false. Can't be both. It's either true or false. Do you know which one it is? Okay, again, we have the same question. What is the output of this code? We have an expression or condition, 2 floats. Okay, we got 8.7 less than or equal to 8.70. Will this become a true or a false? Do you have an idea? Do you know which? Can't be both. What is the output of this code? Or rather this expression. What is the output? Is it a true or false? Okay. Okay, we have another. What is the result of this code? Okay. What is the result of this code? Okay. So we have an if statement. If 1 plus 1 equals 2, and then we have an if-else block that's indented. If 2 times 2 is equal to 8, print if, else, print else. Okay? What is the result of this code? Is there no result? There is no output. Or will we see an else? Or will we see an if? So which one of these strings happen? 3 choices happens. Nothing. Will we see nothing, or will we see an else, or will we see an if? Do you know what is the result of this code? Okay. We're almost at the end here. Okay. No more what is the output of this code questions, okay? Now we have a fill in. Fill in the blanks to compare the variables and output to the corresponding text. Okay? Fill in the blanks to compare the variables and output to the corresponding text. Okay, I'm sorry. The corresponding code. Okay, we have a variable x and it has been assigned a value of 10. We have a variable y and we have assigned it the value of 20. But we have a blank here. What do we need here? What's missing here? Okay. Blank, x greater than y, and then we have something missing here too. Blank, print, if statement. And then we have another blank. What are we missing here? Okay, something's missing here. And then we have a print statement, okay? So we have 3 blanks. The first blank, the second blank, and then a third blank. So what are we missing here to make this code work? Okay, what's missing? Some 3 blank areas are missing. Can you fill in these 3 blanks? I hope you can. Okay, finally, sorry, we're finally done. Very simple question. A shorter option for an else if statement is what? What is the contraction in Python for an else if statement? What does Python use to contract an else if statement? Okay, do you know what it is? Can you fill this blank with the right keyword? Okay, thank you for your patience. We're finally done with this worksheet. Okay, we're finally done with this worksheet. Today's worksheet, this lesson was all about Python's if, elif, and else conditional statements. Okay, thank you very much, and I look forward to
to meeting you in the next episode. Thank you for watching Coding Class with MasterHun. Goodbye.